Hey, welcome back to TML Domain. Very excited to talk to you guys this week. I have a package that just came in. Might have something to do with the outdoor game on Sunday. And we're going to get to that first before we talk about what's going on in Leafland, because there's a lot going on in Leafland. And when it comes to goaltending, defense, trade rumors, there's a lot going on. It's going to be an action packed jam. Let me just adjust this so you guys can see. So usually I record on Thursdays, but today I'm recording on Friday because I knew this was coming in the mail and I wanted to open it up with you guys and experience it with you guys. And you guys let me know what you guys think. Holy smokes. Check this out. Yeah, I ordered a new hat with this jersey. I'm super excited about this because this is one gorgeous little cap. Holy. Look at that on the side there. Oh. Got all the stickers and everything. This is one gorgeous little cap. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Love it. Love it. And here we go. Wow. This is a nice looking jersey. Huge fan. Huge fan of the dark blue guys. Look at this. Look at that. You guys look at the front. Guys, this is one gorgeous jersey. Holy smokes, look at this. Man, I am in favor of this being the permanent home jersey. Look how nice that is. Now, with this jersey, I was pondering because I don't have a Spezza jersey yet. And I really wanted to get a Spezza jersey. But this Austin Matthews with the A on the front. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, this is one gorgeous jersey. Holy smokes. Look at this. Super excited to wear this. Let's see what we got here. We got the Heritage Classic. Honor, Pride, and Courage. Make sure they sent me the right size, eh? Yeah. We got the hockey strap. Always stay strapped down, boys. Stay strapped down. You don't want to get that penalty when you fight. You don't want to get your jersey pulled over your head. There's only the one patch on this side, eh? But I think it's just the simplicity and then the white pipe at the bottom. I think it's just the sheer simplicity of it all that makes this jersey such a nice jersey. Yes. Wow. Huge fan of this. Huge fan. Huge fan of that jersey. Whoa. You guys let me know what you guys think about that, because that is gorgeous. Let's try out this hat. Let's try out this hat. Take these stickers off here. Don't need it. Too many stickers, you know? Too many stickers. Give it a nice little bend. Nice little bend. Holy smokes. Not only does it fit good, it's super nice. That's comfortable. Looks like we're doing the podcast with a new hat. No. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. So, super excited for the new gear. You guys let me know what you guys think of these new jerseys. I absolutely love them. I'm perfectly okay with these becoming permanent home jerseys for the Leafs. Permanent. And so we get down to business. The last couple of weeks have been really bad for the Leafs. And win or lose, we know the Leafs are going to make the playoffs 100%. So really, at this point, you know, you have to think goaltending, you have to think playoffs, and you have to think what's going to get the job done. What do you need to get there? It's about competing. The window's wide open. No more messing around. Now, you can go back to my other podcasts. I've said forever, it was a huge mistake letting Frederik Andersen go. Frederik Andersen was not the best goaltender in the NHL, but he was consistent where he made the easy saves. I don't want to hear about the nonsense about the one goal he let in once in a while. If you look at the last 2 weeks, with the Leafs losing to Buffalo, Leafs losing to Vancouver, Leafs losing to Arizona last night, it doesn't matter if you put Jack or you put Peter Mrazek in. They are giving up the most garbage of goals. I don't want to hear what Jack Campbell, if he was Vezina caliber for half a year, it doesn't matter. This is about winning. This is about competing and giving yourselves the best chance to win the Stanley Cup. So it's definitely not one of these guys. You have to think long term. As a Leaf fan, you have to think about it like this. Austin Matthews in the next 5 years is going to be 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Marner is going to be 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. The next 5 years are prime Stanley Cup winning years. Do you want to put either one of these guys in net or sign any one of these, Peter Mrazek or Campbell, to a 5-year contract and put them in net to try to win a Stanley Cup in the next 5 years? The answer is hell no. I don't care if Campbell's a nice guy. He might be the best teammate. None of that wins you Stanley Cups. It's about winning. It's about getting the job done. All you Frederik Andersen haters out there, you made a huge mistake. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not an educated hockey fan if you think Campbell's better than Freddie Andersen. He's not. Freddie Andersen's going to get nominated for a Vezina, and he might actually win the Vezina. It's Shesterkin is running away with the Vezina right now, but anything could happen. He can have a 10-game stretch that's not very good. He got pulled last night, actually, Shesterkin. So it's at this point, anything's possible. And Freddie Andersen has been rock solid for the Carolina Hurricanes, and we let him go for $4.5 million. If you could choose $4.5 million of Freddie right now, or Campbell at 5 times 5, which one do you choose? You choose Freddie. Hands down, you choose Freddie. There's no way you would pay Campbell 5 times 5. This guy is unproven. He's 30 years old. If you watch a show like Overdrive and Jamie Noodles McLennan, who is, who is a a real authority on goaltending. And I listen to this guy all the time when he talks about goaltenders, and he talks about Hellebuck and all these different kinds of goaltenders. He sees trends in their game. He sees the way they play, their mentality, the way they react on the ice. And this guy tells it how it is. And he goes, Jack Campbell is not a number one goaltender. He's a tandem goalie at best, and you need to go out and get someone equal to him or better than him to be a tandem. So that means the Leafs have to go out and get some equal or better to Jack Campbell and sign both. And that's a waste of cap. The Leafs need a stud in net. You got to do whatever you got to do to go out there. Maybe, you go out and get a Braden Holtby has had a resurgence this year. He looks really good. He's on the trade market. Maybe you go acquire him and then you figure out your goaltending in the offseason. But there's no way the Toronto Maple Leafs right now can go into the offseason, go into the playoffs with the two goalies they have on the roster. And thank God for Chalgren last night. This guy comes up from the Marlies as an emergency, and look at him. A 6'3" butterfly goaltender looked solid. And what is Campbell? Not butterfly, not big. He's a small hybrid goalie that tries to be Jonathan Quick, but you can't be Jonathan Quick because there's only one Jonathan Quick, right? So here's the problem with Jack Campbell. He's a small goaltender who doesn't play the butterfly, and he's a disaster. And then you look at Peter Mrazek, who's also a small goaltender who doesn't play the butterfly, and then you have technical issues because these guys don't play pucks the same way night after night. Peter Mrazek will do weird things where, he'll overcommit or he'll overplay a puck or a shooter. Like last night, he overplays Kessel, and then guess what? The puck goes on the other side, and it dribbled into the net at the slowest speed you can possibly think of. And then, you look at Jack Campbell, look at the last three games, game 5, game 6, game 7 against Montreal. He puts up a 900 or less. And he was up 3-1. All the Leafs need is a mediocre goaltender with the amount of goals that they score. This team is so good. They score so many goals. All they need is a mediocre goalie who can make the simple saves. Look at Chalgren. This guy, he's never played a single game in the NHL. He comes in and everybody in the stadium, everybody on TV looked at this kid and said, oh man, he looks so calm. He looks cool. He looks poised. Look at he made the saves look simple. And over time, this guy came across on a one-timer and puts the pad out and makes the save look easy. Why? Because he's 6'3" and he plays the butterfly. Meanwhile, the Leafs got two little guys who try to play a hybrid style and suck at it. Enough is enough. Go out and get a goaltender. Go out and get a big butterfly goaltender. I don't care if it's Anton Forsberg. I don't care if it's Varlamov. I don't care who it is. Go out and get a goalie. I'm sick and tired of Campbell and Mrazek. It was a horrible decision. It's horrible decision number 2 on Dubas's part. Number 1 was overpaying Mitch Marner, and number 2 was letting Freddie go at 4.5. I cannot believe that this franchise, who had Freddie come in and stabilize this entire rebuild and play as good as he has in the last 5 years to make this team a perennial playoff team, they just let him go for $4.5 million. So what? So Jack Campbell with his nice attitude can come in? I don't care what your attitude is like. Enough of this. Oh, he's such a nice guy. You root for him. Yes, I root for anybody who's a Maple Leaf. I am a Maple Leaf fan. You put on the jersey, I'm your guy. I love Simmons. I love Spezza. I love Nylander, Marner, Robertson, Engvall. You name it. I want you to have nothing but success, because then that means my team has success, and then I get to enjoy the games as a Leaf fan. The things the top line is doing right now, and the second line is being overshadowed by goaltending. But guess what? Kerfoot and Nylander combined for 5 points last night. Tavares has scored in 2 games, 2 of the last 4 games. Against the Canucks, the second line of Nylander, Kerfoot, and Tavares had 4 points and 2 goals or something like that. The second line is being overshadowed by goaltending, and now that Tavares is starting to wake up a little bit, and Nylander is starting to wake up a little bit, and they're scoring, we're talking about goaltending, and we're not giving these guys their props because they're playing good. Because this team can score, and kudos, shout out to Alex Kerfoot, who just keeps doing whatever they tell him to do. Play center, okay. Play winger, okay. Last night, Kerfoot was centering Nylander and Simmons, 5 points. Kerfoot and Nylander have chemistry. Why? Because those two guys play a completely different game than John Tavares. John Tavares is a straight skating, dump it in, grind, and cycle the puck and create possession and tire them out, get it in front of the net and score the goal. John Tavares plays an old school type of hockey, not this high flying, hold on to the puck, skate around and dingle dangle. I mean, look, it's all appreciated. Kerfoot and Nylander are two highly skilled guys. They make for their contracts, they're putting up great stats. And at the end of the day, you can't put those two guys with Tavares. Tavares needs to play with a Robertson, a Simmons, a Mikheyev, a Kasha. He needs two guys that are just going to dump it in and just be like a dog on a bone. And the problem is making him captain, which he shouldn't have been captain. Matthews should have been captain. Making him captain, it's a bad decision that starts a whole chain of bad decisions. And, unfortunately, the Leafs never really went out there and got forwards that can play with Tavares and the style of play that he has. Like, Nylander with Matthews works, and Marner with Matthews works because they play that, that high speed give and go, dangle between your skates type of hockey. But Tavares doesn't play that. Tavares is old school, and you need to go get him some old school guys. Nick Robertson is an old school guy, and you got to figure it out. If you have to go get him a playmaker like a Giroux or maybe get him a line mate like a Pavelski, you got to go get him some guys who can play. You can't put him with these young high flying guys and expect him to play that game. Tavares doesn't play that game. Tavares, even though I love Tavares, he's pretty much point a game player his entire career with the Leafs so far. I have no problems with Tavares, but if you expect him to play like his line mates, it's not going to happen. Tavares is a totally different type player. You need to go get him totally different type of line mates. You need straight skating, dump and chase, crash on the boards, turn it over, cycle it, tire the other line out. And that's how Tavares does it. But he has enough skill to get goals because, guys put it on his stick, and then, if he's in the right spot, he still has a shot and he could score. So Tavares is a good player. You just have to understand the style that he plays, and to make him successful, ideally, Tavares would be with a Bunting and a Kasha, maybe Nylander, maybe Kerfoot, I don't know. But Bunting is stuck on that top line. That top line is so fire. They're so good. They cycle. They read and react off of each other so well. You can't break those guys up. And ideally, a Bunting would go perfectly with John Tavares. The way he gets in front of the net, the way he goes behind the net, the way he cycles. And Matthews, if you've noticed, has started to become that guy. Go behind, drive offense from behind the net. Matthews has really become good at that because he has a winger who gets in front of the net. So it's definitely something. But yeah, the trade deadline is coming. Guaranteed the Leafs are going to go out and get a defenseman. They're working on, based on what I hear, they're working hard. They're trying to put packages together to try to get guys like, you know, the price is extremely high on Jacob Chikrin right now, but just because of the teams that are involved. I mean, you're talking about Florida, Boston, Tampa, the New York Rangers. There's a lot of teams looking to acquire that $4.6 million cap hit because he's a great player. He's physical. You saw him last night against Austin Matthews. That's a player who saw that these refs are not going to call a single penalty tonight. There's no power plays other than, the bench minor for too many men on the ice. The refs weren't going to call anything. And once it goes into overtime, the ref's mentality is, I haven't called the penalty all game, and I can't call a cheap one now, so I have to let everything go. Jacob Chikrin saw that, took his opportunity, grabbed Matthews. He starts yelling to the ref. The ref says, I didn't see anything. And you get that 2-on-1 and you one-time it into the net. So, Jacob Chikrin is a guy the Leafs could use 1,000%. He's got a $4.6 million cap hit. He's signed for 3 years beyond this year. He can score, he can hit, and he's gritty. So, as a Leaf fan, go pay whatever the price is. If you have to go trade a Kerfoot and a Dermott, that's $5 million right there. So we don't need Dermott, we don't need Hall. These two defensemen are 1,000% trash. Dermott and Hall are never going to turn into anything. It's time to move on from these guys. If you have to trade one or both to get Chikrin plus Kerfoot, you do it. If it takes a Kerfoot and a Dermott, that's $5 million right there. So you can take on the Jacob Chikrin cap hit. And, whether or not Muzzin comes back and you have his, $5+ million to use, or you don't, either way the money works. And then if you have to add, I'm not saying it's just Kerfoot and Dermott. Maybe it's Kerfoot, Dermott, a prospect like SDA or Alex Steves, and a pick. Do it. I don't care. I'm done trying to build. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about prospects and things like that. Liljegren is not panning out. Dermott didn't pan out. Hall is not panning out. I don't think Sandin is going to turn into the prolific, Cabernet Light that everybody thinks he's going to turn into. I think he's going to be a serviceable defenseman. He's going to play a lot of games, but he's not going to turn into anything special. So you got Sandin, you got Dermott, you got Liljegren, and you got Hall. There's 4 defensemen that we tried to develop that didn't turn into anything. And then you got Nick Robertson, who's taken forever, who's injury prone. And, he's played, I don't know what, 10 or 11 games as a Leaf. I don't know what he's going to turn into. He can definitely score at the NHL level. He's got a shot and it's amazing. Hopefully he turns into something. But, if you have to trade him to get a Jacob Chikrin, and maybe, maybe you don't trade Kerfoot, maybe you trade Nick Robertson and Dermott and Hall or whatever package you got to put together. You go and get Jacob Chikrin. It's not even a question. I'm sick and tired of sitting around and saying, we got this guy or we got that guy. We don't have nothing. We don't have nothing on the Marlies. We don't have goaltenders on the Marlies. We don't have defensemen on the Marlies. Joey Duzak doesn't even want to be on the Marlies anymore. He's 25 years old. He's, a point-a-game defenseman, and he's not going to get a shot with the Leafs. So guess what? He wants out. So maybe he's a prospect that you add into the Jacob Chikrin deal. It doesn't matter. Go out and get it done. I'm sick. This is a win now team. And, you go and trade a first round and assets to go get Nick Foligno, who's garbage, who was garbage last year. I mean, what did you expect Nick Foligno to do? You expected him to be a bunting. That's what you expected. You traded a first round pick for you expected him to be like another Hyman or Bunting. Thank God we didn't sign the Hyman deal. But At the end of the day, it is what it is. It's win now, and I'm sick and tired of all these problems. The Leafs tried. The Leafs tried to go cheap on goaltending, and guess what? You got a shitty product. You get what you paid for. Don't think you're this $1.6 million Campbell from LA. If he was great, LA would have kept him. If he had a future, LA would have kept him. This guy's 30 years old. He barely, I don't know, he's got 60 games as a Leaf, and they haven't been great. This same play last year got Freddie kicked out of Toronto. He started the season 13-3-2 or something like that. Freddie, who got the Leafs into first place, and Campbell ran with it after that when he got hurt. But everybody forgot who brought the Leafs to the dance, and that's Freddie Anderson. Go look at Freddie Anderson's first year stats with the Leafs, and the shit defense that was in front of him, you wouldn't even believe the names that were playing on defense when he put up 3,940 games against Washington in the first round. 3,940 save percentage games, and nobody talks about that. Everybody talks about that one goal Freddie let in that one time in Game 7. Freddie lost his job for the same play Campbell is producing right now. So why is Campbell the guy for the next 5 years? He's not. I don't care about his attitude. I don't care if he's a nice guy. I don't care if the boys like him in the dressing room. It's about winning, and you need to go get a product that's going to give you stability in net. I don't care if it's a guy from the Marlies. I don't care if you got to go get Henrik Lundqvist out of retirement. I don't know if you got to call up Roberto Luongo. I don't care what you do. You cannot go into the playoffs with these two goalies in net. Peter Mrazek looked like a deer in headlights last night, and the kid from the Marlies has to come in and give you stability. Why? Because you didn't want to pay Freddie $4.5 million, but Peter Mrazek for the next 3 years on a 3-year deal at 3.8 makes sense. That's a $750,000 difference. And because of for $750,000, the Leafs let Freddie go. Why? Because Campbell was the incumbent. Campbell has done fuck all in the NHL. This guy is a nobody. I don't care how hot he is. Leaf fans, do this. Do your research. Go to St. Louis or go talk to anybody in St. Louis or a St. Louis fan. They will tell you before Jordan Binnington came up and he just got hot and he won them a Stanley Cup, the best goalie in their system was Ville Husso, who's better than Binnington right now. He got injured. Ville Husso got injured. And guess who got called up? The next one in line, Binnington. He came up. He had shit AHL stats. He came up. He started playing on a team that was playing great defensively. And all of a sudden you start winning and that snowballs into something. Now, same thing happened with Campbell. He came up. The Leafs defense was much better last year than it was this year. And that same defense produced the snowball effect where Campbell was playing well and then the stats were coming and then all of a sudden everyone's like, holy smokes, look at Jack Campbell. It was pretty much the same thing as Binnington, except Binnington was hotter for longer at a higher level. He was able to steal games for the St. Louis Blues the way that Jack Campbell couldn't steal games for the Leafs in the playoffs. And then Binnington gets his long-term contract, and guess what? Jordan Binnington has a 3.8 goals against right now, and Ville Husso is killing it. So what are they going to do? They're going to sign Ville Husso to $6 million and have $12 million in goaltenders? See, that's the problem. Don't fall in love with the goaltender who comes up and gets hot for half a year or one season. Anybody can have one great season in the NHL. We've seen it with Jim Carrey and Andrew Raycroft, who won the Calder as a goaltender. There's even goalies that have won Hart. It's never a good idea to spend too much money on goaltending. Some of the best goalies in the NHL are $5 to $6 million players. You don't fall in love with a goaltender who does it for 1 year. You need a track record, a proven track record. Frederik Andersen won at Jennings in Anaheim as the main guy. He comes to Toronto in his first year in the playoffs, outmanned and outgunned against the Washington Capitals. This guy puts up 3 940 save games. Nobody talks about it. We just expect that out of a goaltender. Name one guy who's done that. All of a sudden, Freddie gets injured and he's out, and now Campbell's the guy. And now the Leafs have nothing but goaltending problems. Now you got to go into the off season. You're definitely not going to sign Campbell for the next 5 years and contend. You have to go out and now find a stud goaltender. Go ahead. Go ahead and find a stud goaltender for the Leafs. This is a serious problem. The Leafs want to be contenders, but they have no goaltending. And they have no goaltending prospects. So what are you going to do? For all the people out there who fell in love with Jack Campbell and his tap the D-man attitude, I don't care if he's tapping the guys on the legs. It's the stupidest thing to fall in love with. It's the most idiotic thing of, oh, look at him, he taps his D-man. Who cares? Make a save. Look like you belong in the NHL. That's all I care about. The stupid things people fall in love with in this town. Like, it's, for the longest time there was the Nylander hate, which doesn't make any sense. There's all this stuff going on with Marner in the off season and the amount of pressure that he came into the NHL with this year. So much pressure on this guy. Yeah, he hasn't performed in the playoffs. I get it. There's a lot of things that need to happen in the playoffs, but if Muzzin doesn't get hurt and Tavares doesn't get hurt against Montreal last year, they win that series hands down, regardless of how shit Campbell was, and he was pretty bad. But the Leafs need goaltending. Go look in the Boston series, 7 games. Freddie diving across the crease to make a stick save, 40 saves in a night to get the Leafs victories. There's nothing. If Freddie did anything and everything for this team, and he got thrown aside, and now Jack Campbell, no matter what, Jack Campbell's the guy. Based on what? What has Jack Campbell done for the Toronto Maple Leafs? He's been around for 60 games. Frederik Andersen is a drafted goalie with pedigree who has a pedigree as a number one. This guy was drafted to be somebody. Jack Campbell got drafted and sat on the bench for God knows how many years. If you're a good goaltender, that doesn't happen. Jordan Binnington bullied his way into the NHL. Ville Husso in St. Louis is bullying his way right now. Shesterkin, look at, even Georgiev. Everybody was in love with Georgiev for the last 2 years, and now he's not very good. And now Shesterkin is the guy. There's always a new flavor of the month. You can't fall in love with your goaltenders just because they get hot for a little while. Go for the proven commodity. If I were the Leafs, even screw Jacob Chikrin. Call Anaheim. Their GM just said we're going for the full rebuild. Go pay whatever you got to pay to get John Gibson. If a John Gibson trade starts off with a Mrazek or a Campbell, and you add in a Nick Robertson and 2 first-round picks and Alex Steves and Dermott or Hall or Sandin or Liljegren, I don't care. Put a package together, go get John Gibson. He signed for 6 more years at $6.4 million. And then you're good in net for the next 6 years of your contending window. Your best players are in their prime. Don't be Edmonton and waste 7 years of McDavid with nothing. You need goaltending, and you need great goaltending. It's so frustrating to watch this fan base fall in love with people and then hate on people who actually do produce, like William Nylander. It doesn't make any sense. Why? Because Willie Nylander doesn't tap his line mates after every shift? Hey guys, here's one on the shins. Thanks for the pass. That doesn't produce results. Don't get carried away with all the little things. If somebody gives you a cupcake made out of shit but puts pretty sprinkles on it and a little gummy bear at the top and, makes it look all colorful and pretty, it's still made of shit. It's not going to taste any better when you bite into it. And the Leafs goaltending situation is a shit sandwich. You cannot get any worse than this. It is 100% time to push the panic button. The Leafs will not. I have zero expectation of the Leafs winning a round this year if this is their goaltending. There's no way they're winning a round against Florida, Tampa, Carolina. Boston's nipping at our heels. If they get a couple of more wins and we drop down into the wild card, we're playing Carolina. We're playing Carolina, Florida, or Tampa. Guaranteed. And all three are going to mop the floor with the Leafs with their goaltending. Why? Because one has Freddie Anderson, who's having a Vezina caliber season. One's got Vasilevsky, and the other one's got a $10 million goalie in Bobrovsky. It all starts from the net. If you don't have a goaltender, don't even bother. If you don't have a stud goaltender, don't even bother. Don't even bother playing the season. There's no point in making the playoffs to try to compete. What's the point? Doesn't make any sense. I don't know, man. This management team needs to do something about their goaltending, because they had a great goaltender and they let him go because of the stupidity in the fan base in this town. I'm sick and tired of fans running people out because they don't get it. Because they don't get it. You guys don't understand the difference between good and just hot for a while. I understand Jack Campbell's been hot. Hey, I'm happy he got hot because the Leafs got a bunch of wins. But when the Leafs needed him most in the playoffs, he shit the bed. The game 5, 6, and 7, he put up a 900 or less save percentage against the Montreal Canadiens, who can't score. You know why? Because they're garbage. They're at the bottom of the standings. They're last in the NHL for a reason. And Jack Campbell couldn't steal a game against that. One game, we asked. This fan base needed one game from Campbell, and he couldn't give it to you. But he taps his defenseman after every play. He's amazing. Gotta love this guy. You guys need to stop falling in love with things that don't matter. Who cares if he taps them? Who cares if he's nice? There's a lot of NHL players that aren't nice guys who get their teams places. And at the end of the day, all I want is the team to win. I want to enjoy a couple of rounds of the playoffs. I want to see the Leafs go 7 games in the first round, win, and play another good team in the second round. I want to be entertained. Sports is about entertainment, not this stupid back and forth between, inside the fan base. Well, I like this guy, and Marner's overpaid, and Nylander is this. You got to produce, as long as you're producing results. Like, the Leafs are scoring goals at will. They got to score 5 goals for Jack Campbell to get a win. They got to score 5 goals for Mrazek to get a win. That's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. So you don't win like this. You cannot win. You have to be better. The Leafs have to do a lot of things better. And when I look at the goals last night against the Arizona Coyotes, that first one that went off Mrazek's blocker, that's all him. And on the second one, he's just grossly out of position. He couldn't even get back, and he dove and he threw his stick, and it was gross. Like, those are not goals that should go in the NHL. Perfect example. Look at last night's highlights of the Detroit Red Wings game, and Nedeljkovic, who everybody was in love with last year. This guy goes to bat a puck, puts it in between his own legs, and goes in. Nedeljkovic was everybody was in love with him last year because he got hot for half a season. And everyone's like, oh, we should go sign Nedeljkovic, trade for Nedeljkovic. This guy's hot garbage this year. He's not worth $1 million in the NHL. And this is what I'm trying to get at. Who cares if he got hot for half a year? Show me a track record of being a good goaltender. And I know Detroit's not a great goaltender, but he scored on himself. No, there was nobody at fault in that. You can't say the Leafs are bad. The Leafs didn't play bad last night. They played a hell of a game. They were all over the Phoenix Coyotes. But the problem is, a bad goaltender doesn't make a bad team. The goaltender was atrocious. It's as simple as that. I don't know, man. You guys tell me what you guys think about this. I need opinions because I am freaking out right now. The Leafs are supposed to be, they are a good team. Other than Muzzin being hurt, we could definitely use him. You can go out and get defensemen defensemen are not super expensive. You don't need anyone flashy. Like, look at Lyubushkin. He costs nothing to acquire, and he's a good defenseman. And the Leafs could go out and acquire another one of him. But at the end of the day, Leafs need a capable NHL caliber goaltender, and they don't have it right now. All because they let a good one go for free. The stupidest thing I've ever seen. This fan base was rooting for Freddie to leave. I told everyone last year, go check out my Twitter account. 13leafs01, TML domain, at 13leafs01. I said last year, when Freddie leaves, 1000% you will regret it. You are never going to get that caliber goaltending again. I hate to say I told you so. I don't want to say I told you so. I would love for Campbell to be the guy. I would love for Peter Mrazek to be the guy. I would love for these guys to stand on their heads, win a couple of rounds, and we get to see hockey in June. I would love it. I'm not rooting for these guys to fail, but they're failing, and something needs to change. I don't care if they're nice guys and they tap their defenseman on the... I don't care about any of that. I need results. Let's go, boys. I don't know. You guys tell me what you guys think. We'll see how it goes. That's been this week's podcast. Let me know what you guys think of the new jerseys. I love it. I don't know who's going to start on Sunday in the Heritage Classic, but it's most probably going to be Mrazek because they have zero options. Charlie, what are you doing? Sorry, guys. My dog is jumping at me. Okay, Charlie. Sit, Bubba. And so that's where we're at. Hopefully, the boys play good and Mrazek's good in the outdoor game and we get to enjoy something fun like that. I've enjoyed the 2 previous outdoor games the Leafs have played. I've been at both of them. So, I just hope it's going to be a fun experience and the Leafs play good. There's been 3 previous outdoor games. I didn't go to the one in Washington and the one in Annapolis. Annapolis, yeah. They didn't play good in that one, and it wasn't fun to watch because it wasn't a competitive game. Leafs sucked, and Washington won. So I'm really hoping we get a fun competitive game, and Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton is a cool stadium. So we'll see how it goes. As always, go Leafs go, and let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Am I just overreacting, or are the Leafs really in trouble? What do you think, Charlie? Yeah? You think the Leafs are in trouble? I think so too, buddy. We'll see what happens. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, stay safe, and go Leafs go.